And I don't know of any other impetus to that because they continue to deal and sell to their clientele bullion coins. Now this Dubai thing appears, and the deal that they made with Dubai tells me even more so that there's something wrong there. And they must be desperate to get a hold of physical silver. Well, what do you think, Rob?
Well, I mean, the fly in the ointment that I can't figure out is, as the report said, that Morgan Stanley to create Dubai gold securities subject to it depositing the physical gold bullion that backs every security in issue with the custodian to the offering. Now, the custodian is HSBC Bank, which recently announced that they were running out of storage space for gold and silver bullion. And that depository was being moved to the Delaware depository. So there's something, smell a rat here.
And you're a good rat smeller.
Oh, well, listen, I mean, there's no question, Bob, you know as well as I, the amount of silver that's above ground in no way matches up with the physical demand of silver. And as I remind people, at the beginning of this year, we ran out of silver long before we ran out of gold.
It's true.
So there's something I must, because silver should be trading at south of $50 right now. I mean,
and gold at $2,500 or more.
Exactly.
And ironically, guess what's on the back of that Andy Jackson coin? It's got a value of 50 on it. So we nailed this thing pretty much. By the way, I have from shadowstats.com, Bob. You nailed this thing. And
this is John Williams, famous, infamous economist.
Yes.
Good man.
And you nailed this thing right on cue. I'm looking at Shadow Stats, the unemployment, the official U3 and U6 versus their SGS alternate. And this is for 2009, folks. The unemployment in this country is over 20%. Now, the government's official U3, unemployment, is they have it right below 10%. So,
and where were the banks' stress test at? What was the stress test all these banks were given? Was based on an 8.5% unemployment rate.
Yeah, so does that mean they're doubly stressed now?
Well, and even the government is admitting 11% before the end of the year, which would put U6 without birth death, which is currently 20.8, and that's, I think, 0.1% away from John's figure. That would kick that up about 1.5 points. So you're looking at maybe 23.3 by the end of the year, and I projected 22% in January. Need I say more?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, is it any wonder CNBC was beside itself yesterday when Dick Bavane came out and said you're going to see 200-plus banks fail this year?
It was 300.
300.
You're talking about the lady?
I think it was Dick Bavane, not Meredith Whitney.
Oh, that's right, Dick. Yeah. He was only 200. She was 300.
I'd go with Meredith.
Meredith Whitney, whatever her name is.
Yep.
And that's, and that wasn't before the end of the year, was it?
I don't think you put a timeline on it.
No, I don't think either of them did, but they're way, way, way under. Over the next 5 years, you're going to watch half the banks in the country go under. And it's planned that way. They're going to get sucked up by other banks, the big ones, and with your taxpayer money, of course. And now they're letting in foreign banks and private equity groups. All of the illuminists are going to suck up the entire banking system, and then they'll roll it into about maybe 3 banks, and they'll own it all.
Well, didn't Guarantee Bank of Texas, biggest bank failure in Texas, recently get bought by a Spanish bank?
The same people.
Yeah, what was that, John?
BBV, they bought our bank here not too long ago.
So would everybody?
No,
have to
I never
speak
heard of the
Spanish?
BBV. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, me neither. But I'll have that name for you here in a second. No, and the reason they're able to do this, the same reason Canadian banks are not in such trouble, is in Spain they stayed out of the derivatives market. So therefore their economy is still fairly stable over there. They don't have home prices crashing through the floor. They stayed out of the fray. Now either by design, somebody was very smart saying, no, I'm not going to dip my toe in that. But the point is that they have all kinds of money to go around and absorb. And as we said, it's a buyer's market. So there's the bank in Spain sucking up another bank here in this country, which, folks, we told you was going to happen. The assets of the United States, there's a for sale sign stuck on everything. And
Well, BBVS is also a major player in buying roadways and toll roads, and they were involved, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, in New Hampshire? Didn't they buy the New Hampshire toll roads?
Right, but how about in Texas?
Oh,
The NAFTA highway that they wanted to build.
well, the bank that I couldn't remember the name of that I bank at was Compass Bank. They bought them out. And they did this last year when the foo-foo was hitting the air-moving device.
Well, as far as Spain is concerned, the banks may have stayed out, but they have very serious problems, and it's because of their real estate industry. Unemployment officially is around 22%, and unemployment among the young, which is 18 to 35, including college graduates, is somewhere in the vicinity of 32%. So Spain's got some serious problems.
All right, we'll take the break. We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen. 800-313-9443. Questions? These guys have the answers. Give us a call. 800-313-9443. Tax receipts are sliding. I'm reading directly out of the International Forecaster. And spending is surging even as some economists say the recession may have ended. The government's trying to spark business and consumer spending through the $787 billion stimulus plan, spanning tax cuts, infrastructure projects, and a goal to create and save 3.5 million jobs. I guess trying to save what has already been lost and then some. Obama is pushing the health care overhaul that may cost $1 trillion over the decade. And Stan Collender, who is this guy, managing director of Corvus Communications in Washington, and by the way, he's the former U.S. House and Senate Budget Committee analyst. He said spending is bound to increase as the year goes along. That's good news given the state of the economy. You want to do that to get the recovery thing going. Hey, Bob, what recovery?
It's a mystical thing that floats around through the air. And it has green shoots sticking out of it. That poor soul doesn't know it's poison ivy.
I just can't believe that they're, well, what do you mean I can't believe? Yeah, I can believe they're going with Uncle Ben here for another term. You know, why don't they pull Paul Volcker out? Evidently, he's still upright and able to work. He's on the president's financial team of advisors. Why don't they plug this guy back in?
Well, I don't think it would make a lot of difference because he's a CFR trilaterist and Bilderberger, so he's only going to do what their plan is. It just, you know, it's the seamless thing where all of the people who take positions in government all belong to the same group. And it's as simple as that. So it doesn't matter who's up there, whether it's president or head of the Fed or Treasury Department. They all belong to the cult.
Robbie, before we get out of this hour, going into the next, we have the sanctioned Bob Chapman special of the day.
Yes, and as usual, it's my favorite coin, the British sovereign, quarter ounce, the only quarter ounce currently available in the U.S., unless you want to pay substantially more.